Welcome back once again for Scuderia Ferrari Racing news. This time we'll check for you the situation after the Spanish testing sessions of Valencia and Jerez, by the words of our drivers Fernando Alonso and Felipe Massa, and by the words of our technicians. So let's start!
The first two test sessions, Valencia and then here in Jerez, we've been concentrating on trying to put miles on the car and try and learn how we're going to use the Pirelli tyres that we have this year. There's quite a few challenges with those, and it's quite track dependent, so it's interesting to do short and long runs both at Valencia and here. We'll be continuing with that programme in Barcelona and Bahrain. In Barcelona we get the proper race tyres, so what will be the prime and what will be the option tyre for the first 4 races. So that's the first time we actually get to compare those two, which is obviously good to do it at 2 completely different circuits. Barcelona is a very good circuit, good mixture of corners and speeds that highlights you need a car with good downforce and good all-round balance to work around there. And then Bahrain obviously is preparation for the first race. So quite a lot to do still. We've managed to put quite a few miles on the car over the last 2 tests. A lot of that is obviously to try and improve reliability, and we work through all various engine settings, various cooling levels, trying to prove the car out and check all the control systems on the car. I think we've done reasonably well there. We've got, I think we're the highest mileage team there. A lot of that is due to the work that the factory have done. We're testing on various test rigs. The suspension's tested, the gearboxes are tested, the chassis is tested before we actually get to the track, and that's a huge help that we've gone through a first round of small problems. They stop us on a test bench rather than actually stop us at the track, so it does, all that work at the factory does pay off in the long run for us getting miles and getting used to how to run the car at the track. So the launch car is quite a way away from what we're expecting to have at the first race. There's a lot of development that's been going on, and we've tried to give the wind tunnel and the research side of things as much time as possible. So we've got quite a compressed programme to deliver a very large upgrade for the first race. There's quite a large upgrade package that we've got for the test session in Bahrain. The last 2 tests and then in Barcelona, we're effectively running the same aero package. And working on the setup of the car and fine-tuning of control systems, engine control, gearbox control, items like that. We've tried to give the wind tunnel an extra 3 or 4 weeks of development time, and we're working on a very compressed manufacturing schedule that is quite challenging, but it's all going very well at the moment. So hopefully we've basically tried to do a sensible car delivered reliably for the first 3 tests, and then as a very compressed programme, getting the first race package. There's a reasonably substantial upgrade. It's new rear wing, new floor, new bodywork, new rear wing. So most of the visual parts of the car change, but all the underlying bits that we're proving here remain exactly the same.
Well, I think the test is going well. We make constantly progress in terms of drivability of the car. It's the first target in this winter test. Still a lot to do before the first race in Bahrain, but I'm quite happy and optimistic that all the test so far is going very well in our direction. Respect to all the other teams, I don't think that anyone can have a clear idea at the moment of what is the performance for all the teams. We are working in our direction. We don't have time to look at the others. I think in Bahrain, after the first race, Sunday afternoon, will be the time to say the car is good enough to fight for championship, or we need to work because we are behind. Until that point, our main goal is to give our 100% to improve the car and arrive in our maximum potential, and then we see if it's enough or it's not enough.
We started with 2 weeks of testing in Valencia, the first week, and the second week in Jerez de la Frontera. And I would say we did everything we wanted to do. So we run more or less 100 laps per day, which I would say some days we did a little bit more, other days a little bit less, but the median was more or less 100 laps. And it was nice. We did everything we wanted in the car, our program, with the aerodynamic, with the curves, with the new system, the new movable wing, engine, gearbox. So everything works in the direction we wanted. And I would say it was very important beginning for us, thinking about the reliability and preparing the car for the first race. So we still have another 2 weeks of testing, but I would say we are in the good direction. On the performance point of view, it's a little bit more difficult to say, because we never go to the track to do the qualifying together with the other teams, with the other cars, and knowing that everybody has the same fuel level, everybody has the same tires, so it's very different, you know, to look at the other cars. Some teams, some cars are running with more fuel, different tires, and then this is always a little bit too early, you know, to answer how we are in terms of performance. But I would say for the moment we're doing what we want. The performance and the result is more or less what we expect, and this is quite important for the first 2 weeks of testing.
Working as a race engineer in testing changed in the last years because of the restriction in the testing days, basically. We could do a lot of testing days in the past, and now, I mean, it's good if in a season you can do 8-10 days of testing with your driver. So fundamentally, the change is that you have to become much more efficient in what you do at the track. To become more efficient, I would say there are several ways and new approaches we had to develop. First of all, the optimization that you do with your computer, that you do with simulations, so that you can reduce the number of things that you test at the track based on these new tools that have been developed in the last years, and that they become more and more effective in terms of simulating what happens at the track. Then definitely you have to become even more precise and strict in the planning itself of the testing day, with the moments you go on the track, the time you have to use to make changes on the car. You don't have to make changes that are too long, because otherwise you waste too much time of testing day. So simulation tools, planning. And then I would say in the last years it has become very important, the activity at the driving simulator. Ferrari now has a very good and very with a lot of potential simulator, and we use the simulator before going to testing to test some solutions that we have in mind that can have some potential. and see what can be interesting to validate at the track and what we see is less important and therefore we can skip. With the new format of testing, the driver needs to give his contribution to increasing the efficiency of the testing. And I think he basically does it by, first of all, contributing to respecting the planning. So the timing that we have to respect during the day to make as many runs as possible. And the driver needs to, probably how to say, is a bigger effort for him because we need to maximize the kilometers, we need to maximize the runs we do in a testing day. Then he can contribute by helping us as much as possible in drawing conclusions for the testing that we do run by run, because we won't have too many chances to retest different things, so it's very important that we come to a precise and clear conclusion about a certain item that we test. And in a certain part we do it with data analysis, lap time response, but it's very important the driver feedback, so the driver needs to be even more concentrated and even more precise than what it was in the past. And finally, I would say the driver helps us by going to the driving simulator. So with the testing sessions at the driver simulator, where we can anticipate some of the items, and therefore we can decide what are the most important items to test at the track and separate them to the least important and that will receive a lower priority.
Now another important chapter fully dedicated to the great family of the Scuderia Ferrari community. Come with us!
Scuderia Ferrari community is the official community for the fans from the web all over the world. It has thousands of fans throughout the world, and in this case we are here in Jerez de la Frontera, and we gave them the opportunity to come here and to live for 2 days with the Scuderia Ferrari. In these 2 days they got the chance to meet the drivers, Felipe Massa yesterday and Fernando Alonso today, and to meet other members from the team, for example the logistics, the engineers and other staff from the team. By subscribing an annual membership, they got the right to receive the welcome pack, the personalized card, and to participate in numerous events throughout the year, such as this one in Jerez, a Formula 1 test. Other advantages are, for example, the 15% off on all ferraristore.com items, and the reduced entrance to Galleria Ferrari Museum, and in the near future, promotions for the Ferrari World Abu Dhabi Park.
But for this time only. From Alberto Borgini, thanks and goodbye. See you soon again for Scuderia Ferrari Racing News. Ciao!